I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as humanly possible, but in some cases, this is just unavoidable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the spoiler bits in another section in this video, and there's going to be a big old spoiler warning before we get there. Let's get into it. Graphically speaking, the Phantom Pain is pretty good looking. It runs smoothly on my 6850 with everything cranked up to maximum. Textures are of reasonable quality, the draw distance is great, and the particle effects are superb. Play the prologue and try and tell me otherwise. Go on. Sound is usually something of an afterthought in game production, but I'm really very happy with it in this. There's subtle little features like the wind rushing past your ears when you're on horseback or sprinting, weaponry sounds nice and beefy, and the voice acting's utterly top notch. Now, I'm not a fan of 80s music beyond Bowie, but it's pretty decent here. Gameplay is almost exactly what you'd expect from a Metal Gear game, and there are tons, and I mean tons, of hidden little tricks you can do to make your life easier or just that bit more hilarious. Fulton extraction is great, but why would someone join Diamond Dogs after being knocked out, launched into the atmosphere, and then held hostage at Bastard Base is absolutely beyond me. It just doesn't make much sense. The buddy system is great. The companions are actually useful despite only being able to use one at a time. And I like the fact that I can call in airstrikes and support pretty much as long as I've got the funds to do so. That said, there are a couple of things here that really fucking bug me. Stop showing the credits before and after every mission. I know I can skip it. Just don't fucking do it. It's not necessary. Dude, it's a cinematic experience. You just don't understand. Fuck right off. First rule of creating something that involves an evolving storyline, whether it's a movie or a game, you don't interrupt the pacing with pointless, annoying, stupid shit. I know whose fucking game I'm playing. Stop it. Plus, it's kind of spoilery about who I'm going to be taking on in that mission. There's a bit of information overload at the start of the game as well. Don't get me wrong here. I know that I'm building a fucking army, but do I really have to micromanage these bastards? Is there actually any point to this? Or am I just collecting numbers and ranks again? Oh, and if I enter an alert phase against one fucking guy, should it really count as an alert if he doesn't manage to get a radio message off? There's a recent phenomenon of something called open world fatigue. Personally, I think this is a real thing. It exists with games like The Witcher and The Elder Scrolls. It's where you're left in a huge open world with no real direction. In The Phantom Pain, this isn't much of a thing as there's always something to do. There's all kinds of side ops, missions to be done, and you can even send your guys out to do some stuff as well. There's literally no reason whatsoever to say that you've got nothing to do. I like developing weapons, but surely if I captured one during a mission by picking it up from one of the myriad of sensory impaired enemies, then surely I should just be able to replicate it. The general R&D side of things is actually pretty cool, but in some cases it felt like a bit of a time sink. Maybe if I research something, it should cost less than buying it from a supplier. Now we're getting into the spoiler bit. This is your warning. Click the annotation if you want to skip to the final verdict. No excuses and no bitching about spoilers from this point forward, alright? Alright, here we go. Something that's always made the Metal Gear series very dear to me is the over-the-top bad guys. And there are plenty of those here. Psychics, mist monster chaps, burned-faced bloke, and flying fucking fire unicorn man. A huge bonus for me was that Salen Shag Nasty was actually really fucking intimidating. Let's face it, the last few Metal Gears haven't really had the same level of oh shit fuck as Metal Gear Rex, and Shag Nasty actually manages to recapture that. Its scale, the deafening roar it makes, and even the way it moves all gives me a shiver. Fantastic. But here's one of the things that really gets to me about the Phantom Pain. I don't really hate anyone in this game. I've played every single Metal Gear there is, but I don't really hate Burned Face Bloke all that much, no matter how much I feel like I should. I've got no real animosity towards this chap, certainly not as much as I had towards Liquid. I think that stems from the fact that I have no real idea what it is I'm fighting for. I'm building a giant private army. Why? What for? Because I want to live freely? Yes, because military intervention always induces freedom. Go! It's survival webs. Don't you know they all want to kill you? Well, yeah, I do. But at the start, nobody was really aware that Big Boss was actually still alive. Wouldn't it be easier to slink off and live in obscurity? To not bastardize the boss's dream further than you already have? The story is as complex as you'd expect. To the point of absurdity, really. Microbes that infect and kill people based on their language, and somehow through another variant, everyone and their mother has nukes. What utter toss. There's a lot of dialogue here that feels absolutely unnecessary. People babble on and on about soldiers without nations, and nations without nations, and something cipher. It's just so convoluted that even a die-hard Metal Gear fan like myself had a really fucking hard time keeping up with it. I'm going back to the credits thing because this has really pissed me off. I kind of get the feeling that this game was meant to be released episodically. This is sort of evidenced by the whole to be continued thing. But honestly, it's just shit in this context. Mostly because the game isn't episodical. When? When is it going to be continued? Right now? Oh right, better have another fucking unnecessary pause in the gameplay so I can sit in a helicopter and dick around with my iDroid, micromanaging bastards on a bastard base in the middle of the bastard Seychelles. This massive disruption of gameplay takes me clean out of my role as Big Boss. It makes me feel like more of an observer rather than a participant. And isn't that kind of the point, to participate in these massive events in his life? Games aren't TV shows or movies. You can't interrupt pacing like this, because it truly ruins an otherwise immersive experience. One real, solid individual gripe that you could probably write off from this entire review is this one. In a particular mission, when I'm going up against Shaq Nasty, Boss says that he needs backup, and here I am envisioning a full squad of the Diamond Dogs' finest S-grade fighters, with all the tanks and walkers I've been nicking, the nice rocket launchers I've researched, and all that lovely firepower. But no, what do I get? Two guys who do nothing, a pair of cripples, and a kid on Pequod. What in the name of fuck are you thinking? A nice setup for an enormous battle, and you send me the bitchiest, whiniest character, someone that pissed themselves at the very sight of me, and a kid who has done nothing other than try to escape. But he's also going to grow up to be Liquid fucking Snake. Missed opportunity there, Kojima. Seriously. Congratulations, you've safely arrived outside of Spoiler Town. Well done. Now you've just got to avoid social media and Reddit until you finish the game. Good luck with that one. On the whole, this is a great experience that dragged me into the world of Big Boss. The wonderfully crafted environments gave me plenty of room to play, while simultaneously stopping me from getting open world fatigue. Despite a decent number of shortcomings, this game is actually one of my favourites for 2015 so far. It's a great close to a series that has dominated so many gamers' lives and a fitting send-off for Big Boss. The things that annoyed me are pretty glaring, but I kept going back, and I still am. It's a great game and one of this year's must-haves. Just stop hanging out with Guillermo del Toro so much. Eh, Kojima? 9 out of 10.